management school can we teach wisdom? So he came up with 3 levels. Now, although they go up, they're actually all happening at the same time. Collecting, the level of collecting data, collecting information, collecting knowledge. That's all the past information, knowledge that we talked about. Okay. We talked about cognition in the beginning. Thinking about it. So taking this and thinking about it. Knowing that sometimes what you know is wrong, that's fallibility. So knowledge can be wrong. Applying insight and intuition, just what we talked about. Reflecting, thinking about this. So this is understanding, thinking. Okay. And then how does this connect with the larger community? Is it ethical? We sometimes include emotion. Judgment, how do we judge this? This is decision making. That's connecting. So connecting this to the larger community, and then conduct, acting. Okay, so this whole process, in the end, hopefully you can act in a wise manner. All right? So again, although it looks like steps, it's all happening at the same time. So a wise leader, when someone says, what do we do now? We'll maybe go through this whole, theoretically we'll go through this whole process before acting. Now we're talking about, can this be taught? Can this be taught in a university, for example? And we're wondering. I don't want to go too far into it, but anyway, that's kind of a model of can wisdom be taught, and what would wisdom look like if we can try and understand it. Way different maybe from information systems. Except there are decision support systems. Do you guys talk about decision support systems in management information?
Yes. Just mentioned the course in the sophomore year.
What, you know decision support system when I say that? Information technology to help managers make decisions. I have read papers where people try and put wisdom into the decision support system by including ethics, for example. Within the decision support system, there's an ethical component. What about? The question comes up. What about the larger community? You know, this kind of thing. So it's possible to maybe put some of this stuff into an information system, decision support system. It would be very interesting to try. I'm finished. You guys have questions?
I want to ask for Professor Wang or discuss with Professor Wang.
Go on, ask me a question. It doesn't have to be about this. It can be about anything. Well, how much did you understand? Who understood 100%? More than 70%. Oh no, okay. 50 to 70%. Okay? Less than 50%. No one's going to admit that. Any questions? Don't be shy.
Professor Paul, sometimes we will call artificial intelligence or business intelligence. What do you think about the difference between wisdom and intelligence?
Yeah, I don't have a ready answer for that. Intelligence. All of it depends on how you define the terms. Okay. If we can agree on a definition of intelligence, then I can tell you, and a definition of wisdom, then I can talk about that.
Because in Chinese, we
Quite sport. Yeah. And there are different ways of looking at wisdom. We are talking about practical wisdom. Okay? So wisdom can be a very spiritual thing, maybe, but we're talking about practical wisdom. Essentially doing the right thing in the right way for the right reasons and for the right outcome, to have the right outcome. And right, you have to define right. But right means for the benefit of the greatest number of people. And practical wisdom can be very contextual. It really depends on the situation and the environment. So I don't know the answer exactly to the question. AI, artificial intelligence. I guess if programmers wanted to build some of this stuff into the system, maybe it would be helpful. Are you an AI person?
No.
I don't know if ethics are built into AI or judgment. I don't know how you build judgment into AI. I don't know how you build insight. Insight has different meanings. There's like psychological definitions for insight. Insight could mean to look at a problem, and if you have insight about the problem, you go directly to the place that has the greatest cause of the problem. You can sort of understand where is the problem really coming from, and it's not always the obvious place. So how do you develop that skill? Maybe you can through practice, but for most people, insight will come through experience and through reflection. So, yeah. Anyway, any other questions?
There may be case-based learning system combined with people's experience and their judgment to use the case-based learning system to find a
What kind of system?
case-based learning.
Resonance system. I don't know if I've heard of it.
Some kind of expert system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To program that into the system, the programmer would have to know all this stuff. Yeah. So if you have a very wise programmer, maybe they can build that into the system. I think it's worth trying. Yeah. Again, I'm not a huge expert on decision support systems, so I don't know. You guys have any questions? My PhD.
Yeah.
What would you like to ask? Team?
How can the virtual team to become the system?
From that corner. Until that's done. So basically, why are virtual teams complex?
Because that is not a true thing, it's a fact, or it's not correct, but you use and it becomes a true thing, or to build like a virtual system
I'm as confused as you are.
Okay, the easy way is how the virtual thing to become true.
How does a virtual thing become true?
Yeah.
You're talking like virtual reality?
Oh, well, not always thing like that. So in some experience or knowledge.
Wow. I think, again, I'm not a philosopher. People have, people have defined knowledge as justified true belief. I think that comes from Plato or Socrates. I'm not a big justified true belief. That means what you believe to be true, and you have some reason to believe that, that is knowledge. But people disagree with that definition too, because you can fool yourself into that. Now, how does something virtual become knowledge? Yeah, I don't. Is that your question? Yeah, I can't help you. Regretfully, I can't.
So complicated.
Huh?
This is so complicated, and you let me organize the knowledge into system.
Helper? You don't understand either. You have to think about that. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can say it in Chinese. Maybe your teacher can. Ask the question in Chinese. Can you listen to this question? Go on.
你想问的。问题里面有问题，所以是一个，我觉得它的 virtual team 的意思是像一个供应链，不同的厂商，他们可以透过这样组成一个，或者一些专业的团队，他们可以透过网络变成一个虚拟团队来去做一些专案，然后在不同的成员之间，他们可能会有一个主导者，那主导者其实就是这个 virtual team 的那个 leader。管理这件事就像一些实作平台，就是像一些群体资源系统跟 decision support， 它可以把所有的会议记录跟相关的一些知识文件，或者他们讨论在那个白板上面。对对，就是类似这样。它的依据其实就是把他们讨论的一些，像有一些专业文件像 IBM 那样，他们会透过 wiki 来去编修共识这样子的一个知识文件的合作。And try to translate the mechanics, how the mechanics of a virtual team works.
Virtual is the wrong word. Okay, it really should be computer-mediated teams, or information and communication technology-mediated teams. It's not virtual. Virtual is like Second Life. Okay, completely different. And I don't know about. I mean, companies do have meetings in Second Life, genuinely virtual meetings, but I don't know about them. My research wasn't. So the term